Co-Kane has,
he's got a baggie. It's an 8-ball. He's got an 8-ball.
And Co-Kane goes fucking crazy.
Co-Kane is fired up, brother! Coke slam to the depths of hell!
Going live. How are you, Jimmy? What's going on, man?
What's up, buddy? How we doing?
It's a Friday. It's a Friday. These Fridays are tough, though, man. You know what I mean? What do you think about Fridays?
What do I think about Fridays? I think for most people, it means my work week is over. For me, it means, oh, crap, I'm working the weekend. That's what I
That
think.
sucks. You know what, dude? I wasn't thinking about that because you got Thursday, Friday, and then it's like, oh,
right,
man, my
right,
life. Unbelievable.
It is what it is, my friend.
No, because it just does. It's just like Friday, people want to go out. You know, us, like, I don't really go anywhere on a Friday. Saturday night might be the time I go out anywhere.
Right. I got you.
Well, we're kicking it old school for the holiday, so no studio. So I'm in the man cave. You're in the Wahoo Den, where we're going to have our special guest, Co-Kane, on shortly. But I wanted to hit with you. Jimmy, we were talking about that real quick. You asked me who is the originator of the song Co-Kane, and right, and maybe you can drop some knowledge on the people out there that may say it's Eric Clapton, like I did.
Well, Eric Clapton made the song a household song. You know, Eric Clapton's version of Co-Kane is obviously the measuring stick and the blueprint for anybody who tries to do a cover of Co-Kane. But there is a old-time songwriter named J.J. Calley that wrote the song Co-Kane, and Eric just did it his way. And his way was the way that worked the most. Obviously, Eric's guitar work on it is ridiculous. The melody is undeniable. It's a great song, Co-Kane. Period. You know, and Cali was respected amongst a lot of famous musicians because the Leonard Skinner on One More from the Road. You probably had that live album with the great 11.5-minute live version of Freebird with Billy Powell on the piano. Cali's got a song credit on that one too. Working with, you know, Skinner dug his stuff enough. You know, a lot of the old bluesmen, look, without Robert Johnson, we don't even have Jimmy Page from Led Zeppelin. I mean, that's just a howling wolf. It's just a fact. You know, it started a long time ago. Blues turned into rock, and the rest is history. Co-Kane's a great song, period.
No, there's always origins of something, right? There's always origins of something, you know? What's old is new, and it just keeps happening. Before we get to our guest, Co-Kane, and then also in studio will be Jimmy Controversy, independent. I don't like using the word independent, but like one of the up and coming promoters. So it'll be interesting to talk to Jimmy about his stuff. And again, rising star Co-Kane, who you and had the whole conversation started, right? Jimmy one day he called me and he said, "Hey man, you ever hear that guy Co-Kane?" And I'm like, "Dude, I love Co-Kane. That guy's got the best gimmick ever." And then we were just talking about Co-Kane. I'm like, "Fuck, we got to get this guy on the show." Yeah. I mean, talk about originality, man.
Oh my God,
seriously.
Well, we'll wait to talk to him about it. But where did this come from? You know, I was like, "Oh my God." Honestly, I think it's hilarious. And that is not a knock. When I think something's funny, it's entertaining. That's the bottom line. I'm like, oh my God, this is so out of the box thinking. This is Monte and the Pharaoh thinking.
No, it is Monte the Pharaoh thinking.
You know?
We'll talk to Co-Kane first, then we'll talk to Jimmy, and then we'll get all the answers. Before we get that, California stiffens penalties for theft, and more changes are coming. So basically, Jimmy, what's happening now is California now has made anything stolen over $950 is now a felony. You still there? Did you lose me?
Yeah, you froze completely.
I froze. I started spinning, but we didn't lose internet. I don't know.
Yeah,
Sometimes.
I was about to log out and come back in. Anyway.
No, hang in there sometimes. Anyway, so at $950, it is now officially a felony, right?
Okay.
So there's stores out there that are marking everything in their store at $950, and they give you a discount upon checking out.
Wow.
What do you think of that?
Wow.
It's not too bad, right?
That's kind of foolproof. But what if somebody doesn't have the $950 on their credit card to do that? If they just want a bag of potatoes?
Well, no. So the idea behind it is $950. You go to the cashier, and then they give you like a coupon discount. And so, if say it's $1 item, you get a credit of $949.
And this is supposed to prevent people from stealing?
No, I don't know. I don't think anything prevents anything, but
I guess
in premise is good. If you didn't know, you're watching Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monte the Pharaoh, only seen here out of right now, Mike Monte's man cave and Jimmy Pharaoh's Saloon. Catch us on the Monte the Pharaoh YouTube page, Monte the Pharaoh Facebook Live page. Hear us on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Anchor, Twitch TV. And we are driven by the Believe Network. That's who distributes our audio. We're also on New York Cable, where you will see Co-Kane on New York Cable in a reduced version. Where over 150,000 people see us weekly, 3 times a week. That's like a combination. We're also, within the next week or so, will be on Stripes Television and Tribe TV. Both have a Roku channel. We'll be driving their sports network there. So things are moving for us, Jimmy.
Yes, sir.
Things are happening. But more importantly, let's welcome. This is a very exciting moment for us. Do you want to sing them in, Jimmy?
Well, it's not she. It's he don't lie, he don't lie, he don't lie. Co-Kane.
There he is, Co-Kane in the house.
Wait a minute. Is he actually doing Co-Kane on the show live? What the hell's going on here? Don't make me smoke weed in front of you guys. It might happen.
Good evening, Monte and the Pharaoh.
Oh boy, we're in trouble. Good evening, Co-Kane. How are you, sir? Obviously,
hello, Co-Kane. How are you?
Doing better than me.
As a kite.
Jesus God. Oh, Mike, how do we do this seriously here? You got like a serious script here, and you want me to start with. So tell us, Co-Kane, how did you decide to enter pro wrestling?
Halloween in a costume rumble. Jimmy Controversy came to me with Grim from Grim's Toy Show and asked me, Co-Kane, to enter the costume rumble for Grim's Toy Show, which is a show on YouTube with 2 million subscribers and millions of viewers around the world. I entered the rumble and I lost. And I went viral ever since. There have been many, many Co-Kane imitators out there. Specifically one on JCW. A fake Co-Kane. A copycat Co-Kane.
A cocaine filled with cut? Is that what you're saying? Not even pure cocaine? Ugh.
Not even pure cocaine.
Wow.
Wow.
Completely cut. All right, here's one outside of the box, because obviously someone does not become cocaine without thinking outside of the box, which I happen to respect quite a bit, by the way. Considering you are not cane sized, and I mean this respectfully, not the size of a cane, was using cocaine as a foreign object, let's just call it a foreign object, if you will. After all, there are allegedly rules in pro wrestling, but we all know that faces and heels are quite capable of breaking them at any given time. Okay?
Correct.
So was it a necessity to use cocaine as a foreign object, considering you're not exactly cane-sized? Then again, who is?
I don't like to use cocaine as a weapon. I use it for my own personal benefit. Using cocaine as a foreign object is a waste of pure, good Colombian cocaine.
Okay. All right. So it's not exactly
I gotta ask Coke. Can we call you Coke for short? Would that be okay?
Coke. It's cocaine. It's not Coke.
Oh well, let's call him Coke.
Cocaine.
See, I told you.
So let me ask you something. Grimm has that popular podcast or that channel. How do you meet Grimm and how do you build a relationship with Grimm?
Jimmy Controversy and Grimm have been friends for years. To get on Grimm's show, you have to be a wrestling diehard. You have to want to take risks. You have to want to think outside the box. You have to want to have something that the fans will like about you. And the fans love cocaine.
Cocaine. Were you expecting when you did come up with this, I don't want to call it a gimmick, but when you decided to become the character of Cocaine, in your wildest dreams, did you ever think you'd become this social media sensation?
Yes, and I'm going to tell you why. Because of Blue Kane getting all that notoriety and popularity, and Gain getting all that notoriety and popularity. I feel like Cocaine would have blown them all out of the water. And I feel like Cocaine would gain the most popularity. Never did I think that the original Kane would react and bury Cocaine, saying he would never pay a ticket to see me. Never did I thought that I would get a copycat Cocaine. And never did I thought that Dustin Rhodes would have negative things to say about Cocaine, given that he dressed as a gold man in a girly wig.
Or even better, he did plenty of cocaine, so I thought he would actually be a fan. What do you think, Jimmy?
That is correct.
There's always that, Mike.
Right, exactly, right?
There's always that.
If you actually do it, why wouldn't you be a fan of it, of the character?
Listen, my personal problem is I love cocaine too much, so I don't hang around cocaine anymore. But I certainly remember how much I loved cocaine when I was a younger man, and I can't say that I'm bitter or mad at cocaine. That was up to me. So whatever floats your boat out there. As far as Cocaine, what does it make you feel like when you hear a Dustin Runnels who portrayed obviously the outrageous angle he portrayed most successfully as Goldust? What does that make you feel like when you hear derogatory comments towards your approach, your shtick?
It is hypocritical of Dustin Rhodes to bash such an outrageous character like me, Cocaine, when he has done far worse on television, especially in '98. It is hypocritical to bash someone for thinking outside the box in an industry where everybody needs to think outside the box to thrive.
Coke.
Stop with the Coke.
I love it. Coke, let me ask you this. What happens when the kids want to take pictures with you? Are they like, Mom, Dad, I want to take a picture with Cocaine? How often does that happen?
Wait a minute. Does that happen? Do you have little kids like, hey, Mom, can I take a picture with Cocaine? Are they like dragging the kid away, or have you taken pictures with little kids?
Unfortunately, I am not allowed. on family-friendly shows.
Wow.
I have not been booked on family-friendly shows.
Oh,
What?
man.
Yet
You
WWE
mean what?
programming is family-friendly television,
Of course,
and
yeah.
there is gold dust on family-friendly television.
Look,
Hypocritical much.
let me ask you this though. With the character that you're portraying, um, and it's just a character,
Correct.
do you actually not get booked because of the name of the character and what the gimmick is? Like, I don't know how this actually works, Coke. So
That's a fair question.
do you
That's a
go
fair
out
question.
and you try to book the character, and what kind of feedback do you get back?
People love it. People love it. I had my last match in Scranton a while back at a no-ring show called Smash Master Wrestling, Ring of Mayhem. And I fought a guy named Kit Raff, who was the biggest Kane fan in the world. And he took offense to me. So he beat the ever-living dog shit out of me. And I was forced into temporary retirement. But never say never.
Are you trying to say that wrestler actually shot on you? He went off. Did he really shoot on you and attacked you for real?
He was unhinged as a Kane fan, as the biggest Kane fan in the world.
So at that point, why didn't you reach for the 8 ball and use it to help you come back and fight back?
My biggest mistake, Monte, was using the 8 ball as a foreign object, putting his face in the 8 ball.
I
And
understand.
he felt the power of the hellfire and
Oh,
blow.
for God's sakes! You gave him a numbing effect, and it worked in reverse on you.
The hellfire and
And
blow.
he used it on me.
That's just not.
And
You
took
got to watch how you spread your
advantage.
powder around, my
And
friend.
I was out.
Oh,
Jimmy, I have to say this might be my favorite interview of all time.
I can see you having fun over there.
We've had Bob Backlund, Scott Hall, Stan Hansen, but we got Co-Kane, man. Best interview ever.
Well, Co-Kane, thanks to my partner, he's forced me to ask a question that I'm gonna reword because, as usual, Mike. Okay, let me see if I can put it a Pharaoh way. You have a very deliberate way of speaking. Is that due to the large amounts of cocaine that you use?
What kind of question is that?
It's the kind you thought up, and I did my best to reword, but I don't think I succeeded. But does the cocaine actually affect your promo approach? How about that?
Cocaine affects everything
He ain't kidding.
about me.
Oh my God. Well, how do you argue with that? Science is science. I know what cocaine does. It makes your toes forget
Science is science.
that you have them. Yeah. Oy.
Well,
I don't know.
Listen, Co-Kane, I know it's Christmas time. You have to spread some more cheer even after the holiday and hand out some white stuff to your fans out there. We're going to be bringing on Jimmy Controversy after a commercial break, but we want to thank you, Co-Kane, for joining us. Thank you so much, sir.
I hate that kid.
He hates our next guest. Well, Co-Kane, can you at least do one favor for me? I'm going to try to send you my mailing address. If Santa Kane wants to stop by, I can drop off my mailing address. You can leave me a little white powder.
Not a problem.
Yeah, I knew cocaine was
Pharaoh.
cool. You see that, Mike? Just like that, hooked up.
That's what you call is smart.
Yeah.
Well,
Tito,
Co-Kane,
Not a problem.
we're
Nice.
big fans. Looking forward to seeing you in future events. I know I'll be there. And
Never
thank you
say
again
never.
for joining us. All right, man. We'll talk to you soon. Jimmy, we'll be right back after this commercial break, all right?
Yeah, I got to go do a line.
All right.
And APB, American Protection Bureau, voted #1 best on Long Island for all your security needs. Call 631-390-9050. That's 631-390-9050. APB.
Sir,
Ah.
Manscaped.
Uh-huh.
Have you tried the new equipment that's been sent?
I'm afraid because it says weed whacker. I'm scared.
Maven, Manscaped. What are you thinking about
Love it.
Manscaped, dude?
Love it.
What do you use it for?
Necessity. What don't I use it for? Put it this way. The only hair I have on my entire body is these eyebrows.
Yeah.
That you see. These caterpillars racing to the middle of my nose. That's it.
That is it.
That's all I have. And that's all I want.
That's the
So Manscaped is a
You-
must.
We were talking before the show. There's nothing worse than just hair.
Yeah.
Right? Hair on a woman, hair on a man. It's just bad.
Absolutely. And it's the one thing that the older I get, it starts growing more in unwanted areas.
Absolutely.
I hate it.
I'm going to ask you a question.
Uh-oh.
Just going to go out there.
Oh, boy.
Go for it.
You're doing a deed.
Yes.
Again, I don't want you to have to admit this because we, as men, we try not to admit this. But if you're going to
Oh,
go
I
do
know
the deed
where-
on a
I
woman,
know where
would you
he's
rather
going.
have her be hairless or a little hair, racing stripe, or
Racing stripe.
full retro bush?
Racing stripe.
Retro Bush is out.
Yes, thank you.
Retro Bush is out.
Yeah.
I don't mind a small, well manicured landing strip. Every now and then, if it's completely, and I'm talking like baby's ass bald, then I start. Where is that pedophilia line? I don't want to wander into that.
That's
thought
very
of it like
interesting.
that.
I never thought about that. You're a
Wow.
smart dude. Holy shit.
So if the landing strip is clean enough for the plane to go in smoothly, you're cool with that?
If the landing strip has, like I said, well manicured,
Yeah,
you can see both sides. It's not
Like blinking lights on both sides of that
I
landing?
just don't. I don't want. I don't want the shrubbery going off into unwanted areas on that as well.
Gotcha. Oh, look what you found. Ooh.
I got to be all honest though. Hey, the older I get though, I don't think I can be as
I found it! I found
have
it!
you ever gone down there and she slowly brings down the underwear? Then
What is
retro? Just,
Absolutely.
You're like, whoa!
Wow,
Yeah, I'm
like
46,
it
of
pops
course.
out?
Do you like walk out or what do you do?
No, I muster through. I muster up the courage to get
He's
through.
a trooper. He's a trooper. Gotta give him an A.
Oh, not all heroes wear capes.
Yeah,
There you go.
I hear you.
There you
Listen,
go.
I couldn't
Super
say.
Bush.
I couldn't say. Well, if you have the same beliefs as Maven does, Manscaped could help you.
Absolutely.
The weed whacker.
Absolutely.
What are you thinking?
I'm thinking that I may have to, go in a room, close the door, and hang out with the weed whacker for a little while.
Man, I think you're a retro guy, aren't you?
I like 70s adult films, if that's what you're getting at.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
But
only
with that,
Ron
we're going to take a
Jeremy,
quick
Batman.
commercial break, and we'll be
Anyway.
back with this wrestling icon, Maven.
We will see you in a drop kick second.
Drop kick.
Jimmy, how are you, buddy?
I still laugh at that commercial. I'm sorry.
It's been a while since we ran that, right?
I don't know, but I still find it funny to
It's
this
a
day.
classic. It's a classic.
All
It's
of
a
that and
classic.
Sleepy Guy as well. I mean, come
Dude,
on.
a lot of comments on Sleepy Guy.
Yeah, he's a
That's
legend.
what I was trying to explain before we have Jimmy Controversy. I was trying to explain on the YouTube end of our show, right? Because we're just not a YouTube show, or we're actually a television show. The weird thing about our videos, they could be sitting around for like a year, and all of a sudden they hit some kind of algorithm, and all of a sudden you see all these comments start coming on an old video, and I'm like,
Right.
what's going on here? And also it's just getting pushed. And the latest one was the Nydia Maven one, but a lot of comments about Sleepy Guy.
Yeah. Well, Sleepy Guy was hilarious. I still remember the decision to put him on the couch, and it's one of the rare times that Pharaoh doesn't say anything. And I'm thinking to myself, why are we going to have this guy sitting on the corner of the couch taking naps? But something told me, leave it alone. And it turned into Sleepy Guy. For God's sakes, we have him on a shirt. There are people who own a Sleepy Guy t-shirt. It's hilarious.
Which is scary in itself, right?
Yes, it's scary, but it's funny as
With
hell.
that, well, with that, let's welcome Jimmy Controversy. Jimmy, how are you, man?
How's it
Are
going,
you there?
man? Thanks for
There he
having
is.
me.
Oh.
Now
Thanks
look
for
at that
having me.
handsome devil right there.
I see you guys had
No,
Cocaine on the show
thanks
before.
for having you, brother.
Oh, awesome. No, thank you. I saw you guys just had Cocaine
Yeah,
on
we
the
did.
show.
We did.
Just missed them. Just missed them.
He doesn't like. He said he doesn't like you.
I know he
What-
doesn't.
what-
You know what? The feelings all mutual. The feelings all mutual.
Wow, what's going on there? I guess Mike will get to that at some
there's
point.
a lot
Can
going
you,
on
can,
there.
Yeah, can you share what's the issue with you and cocaine?
It's more like he's ungrateful because I bring him to Grimm's. I get him all the bookings that, I just didn't want to take, I do the deathmatch wrestling, so it takes a lot on my body and
Oof.
stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want to take this. You want to take this? And he's like, sure, because he's all coked out of his mind and drugged up, so he'll take the bookings, regardless. But then he'll pocket the money. He took that booking at the No Ring show and got his ass kicked. And he's one of those carnies that he'll say he's gonna come back soon, but I don't know. But then I see he did his first No Ring show and is having his first death match as well down in Texas in a couple weeks. So for local wrestling. And I'm like, really, really, you're taking my spotlight, man. Come on, man. Like, I get you on GTS and Gribb's Toy Show, which was a show that I helped build, and he's just being ungrateful.
Let's go back to I'm very again, Jimmy and I are always again, we're just fans, right? So
Yeah,
we're always amazed on these guys that are like behind the scenes. So let's talk about Grimm a little bit. Where did does Grimm do this for a living now? Does he make all his
yes,
money off his
yes, he
channel?
does. He
Like, so how did you and him how did you and Grimm build this thing? Give me
so
some words of advice here.
I I was like 16 years old. I'm 27 now, and I was 16 years old. I wanted to be on, I wanted to do I wanted to do videos with him on his channel because he was doing it at conventions such as Legends of the Ring, New Jersey Collectors Con, Ringside Fest. Where all these fan conventions that I really don't go to now because as a performer, it really doesn't benefit me. But he was there, and he him and I started talking, and I'm like, why don't we do Grimm's character, which was Ebenezer, to come to my house and review my toy collection. So we did that, and then his brother came on board. His nephew, pain in the ass kid, who was 2 years younger than me, came on board, and we started filming wrestling matches in my backyard and in his backyard. And then he asked the two of us, if we wanted to do this, if we were serious about this. So I'm like, yeah, yeah, we are. Like, so he took Chris, pain in the ass kid, his nephew, to go get training at Creative Pro New Jersey or Creative Pro New York. And then shortly after that, I went to go train at Creative Pro New Jersey, which was at the time Wrestle Pro. So then he got his ring. He got a ring. Started doing videos and wrestling matches with Brian Myers and some of the students at Creative Pro, which are now on AEW today. And once he started doing that, started getting the ring and stuff. That's when the show really started taking off. We started getting like millions of viewers a day. Um, we did in January. We did the coldest Rumble ever because this guy literally took the Super Cena to a whole new level. Where he's like Grimm doesn't lay down for anybody, including the weather. Uh, January 2017. We did a Royal Rumble in the snow. It was a state of emergency. MJF, CPA, and Max Caster were supposed to come down and be a part of it, but the roads were closed. I was with my parents at the time, so I took my dad's truck and because it had 4-wheel drive, I drove to his grandmother's house, which was Super Gram on YouTube, where the ring was, and we're doing a rumble out in the freezing cold. And me and Pain in the Ass Kid literally had to get into all these different costumes and stuff to fill in for the guys that couldn't make it.
Did
And
I
once
got I
once
gotta interject. Did CPA? I cannot believe you just name dropped CPA because I remember
oh dude,
CPA.
he was great. He's
Did he show
awesome,
up?
man.
Did he show up for that match?
Eventually he showed up to GTS to work a Ready to Rumble DVD
But
on a pole match against
but
me.
not that match,
But
not the
not that.
snowstorm.
No, it was a state of emergency, dude. It
Did
was.
you have to
I
play the
don't
role of
blame
the
anybody for not
accountant?
showing up to that because it was a state of emergency. It
Oh
was
my God!
literally
What are you
literally
lunatics
the
doing?
roads were closed, jobs were closed. We were out there in the freezing cold, all of us, like idiots. And then my parents, they found out that I went, and once it got posted, I'm like, hey, listen, 1 million views in the last hour. Be proud, mom.
Wow.
Now what did you do? Did you film it and then you canned it and then ran it afterwards? You didn't run it live, right?
We filmed it. We filmed it, and then the week of the Royal Rumble, it went up. It went up.
So
And
answer me this, right? So you have this, right? And you said this is when you guys really started getting a following.
that's
When
when
you
we really started getting the
So when you
following.
put it
Yeah.
up, what attracted people to see this? Did you promote it? Like, what did you do to make people attack this thing?
Or did it just happen?
I think it was because Grim made very at the time. Grim made very because you got to remember at the time, people were kind of tired of WWE. People were. And at the time, like, there was no AEW. There was really no alternatives for, casual WWE fans, I feel like. And Grim was providing that alternative for those fans that were not really interested in, the WWE product, where you could just go on YouTube and you could access, because besides YouTube, these like networks nowadays, and this is a wonderful thing, these networks now are phenomenal. Like you got Title Match Network, you got IWTV, you got Stream XPW, you got all these different networks. Back then you just had YouTube, and this was when streaming services were beginning to gain traction, and Grim was the one providing that alternative at the time. We were the one providing that alternative for guys to watch something other than WWE and watch it in an easy way.
Not to cut Jimmy off, but Mike, it sounds like you've always said to me, like about, let's say a Hannibal or something. They were first to the race at something. That's what it sounds like.
Once you're first, first to market, man. One of
Yeah,
the secret things on
first to the
business,
race.
right?
Yep.
But like, Grim, again,
Timing.
there's such an amazing universe out there that we, Jimmy, we don't even know about, right?
Right.
We kind of know our little world, right? And it's
Right.
like, out there is like Grim. You just said Grim. He makes his job is YouTube, right?
So now that there's all these different platforms that we did lay that foundation. uh he doesn't really make, he still does the wrestling. It's his number one passion, but he's a YouTuber through and through, so he'll make money off of, vlogs. He'll make money off of Patreons. He'll make money off of that.
And
So,
are you business partners with Graham, or are you just a friend?
I'm I'm a big part of his wrestling show. I still remain loyal to him. If he needs anything, I'm there to, help him out. Even though, even though like this last year I've been out there like traveling like every weekend, but I still help Grim out. Yeah, I still help him out. I would say I'm a partner in GTS Wrestling.
Wow.
You know, I
So let me
feel like now he's got all these different outlets. He's got gaming, he's got vlogs, he's got GTS Wrestling.
Well, let's talk about you a bit now. So now you've become a wrestler. Now you're your own agent. So now, what do you go out there and call promoters to book you? How does that work?
Uh, I basically get connections off of working. I basically get connections by networking. That's how it works out there. You go and you get connections at you go to these companies, you know, you work the companies, and then you get like connections and stuff like that. Like when I worked XPW, I became, friends with I've gotten a whole bunch of connections out there, and it was Necro Butcher who took me, under his wing, and, got me booked at other places besides XPW. And, we worked at, he got me in one of my first deathmatch tournaments, which I've always wanted to be in. And it's infamously the most violent one. It was called the IWA Deep South Carnage Cup.
Mm.
And I actually got to get in the ring with him and this guy named the Suicidal Beast, Bryant Woods, who used to wrestle up here in Howell during the GCW Howell days. And that was one of my biggest breakthroughs, because after that, I started getting other companies started reaching out to me, and other people started, asking me if, I'd like to come and work their show.
All right, and before I let Jimmy take this over, but my next question is, obviously you want to be a wrestler. What kind of money do you get out there as an independent wrestler? Or are you one of these guys that just love it so much you even work for free?
No, I really don't work for. I don't. I'll work if it's if it's a show that I'm promoting, like Pro Wrestling Venom, because I'm making money regardless. But the goal in the business is to make money, and this may, it's all about, you got to know your worth. That was the number one thing. You got to know your worth. You got to know, like, sometimes you're not going to make uh, as much money as you want to make, like your desired rate. So, you'd want to, you'll make more money, in trans, and then you get back home and you break even. Um, but then sometimes the promoter will book you, and they'll pay you like half your rate, but they'll make sure that you have a place to stay. They'll make sure that you have gas money if you're driving. Sometimes they'll make sure if you have your flight. um and then, merch is the number one thing. I don't like to take other people, I don't like to go out there and take other people, because I still have my morals and, values, and times are really tough. I don't like to take other people's money and stuff like that. And this is what Necro does. He does not sell merch, really. That's why he doesn't charge for merch and stuff. Like, he doesn't sell merch and shit like that. So I'm kind of the same way. In an interview, like, you guys can find, like, way back in the day, I'm kind of the same way, where, like, I'm happy that somebody's paying to see me. And I'm happy and grateful that a promoter is booking me on their show to come, and that I'm good enough to be on that show. Um and I'm happy that, I just want the fans to come there and, have a good time. Somebody, if somebody wants an autograph, I'll give them an autograph. But merch is very important, because that can be your number one go-to for money. More bands make money in merch than they do in, an actual performance.
Coming off an Iron Maiden concert, I could vouch for that. Mike, you should have seen the line for the
Was he lip
merchandise
syncing?
for Iron Maiden. Oh my God! I mean,
Was
and
he
those
lip?
shirts were not cheap. The
Iron
line was
Maiden's
a
where it's
mile
at,
long.
dude.
Yup, Iron Maiden fucking rules.
Jimmy, he was asking you if he was lip syncing though.
No, he was not, Jimmy. No, he was actually doing what he's always done. Bruce Dickinson is a fucking genius.
Bruce Dickinson's great, man.
Yep, and he overcame throat cancer, and he still sounds fucking
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
And he doesn't cheat.
He used to sing a lot of. He sang a lot of ECW songs back in the day.
He was fucking great, and he still is
Oh
great,
yeah.
and he's not
Oh yeah.
cheating. So Jimmy, I got a couple of questions for you. I'm going to try to tie them in though, for time's sake. Why do you death wrestle? Now, before you answer that, though, it's tied into to how did you come up with Co-Kane? Because when Look, you know how the internet is. You know what kind of world we're living in right now, okay?
Oh,
We
yeah.
like everything is an uproar, all right?
Everything's
And
an uproar.
and you decide that you're going to call yourself Co-Kane. Was there some soul searching going on? Was it an easy thing to come up with? And why death wrestling? Because and I would say this respectfully. My God, you are not Samoa Joe. You are killing yourself, bro. Like, why death wrestling? And does Co-Kane the persona itself almost force you to be involved in death wrestling? So those are my questions.
Well, I really here's the thing. So the Co-Kane character was supposed to be like a joke, like a long time ago. Grimm was using that character. Grimm was calling him Cocaine for years. And when it got around Halloween, we saw somebody created the character online.
Okay.
And Grimm showed me, he's like, somebody created Cocaine. And I'm like, what if I brought this to life in the GTS costume rumble? And he's like, yes, do it, do it, do it. So I took my that's not the original mask, by the way. I took my cane mask that my mom got me back in preschool at WWF New York,
Okay.
and I
Nice.
painted it. I painted it and I made the costume, and $150 later, that's how much it cost me. Uh I did the character, and then the next day Fightful Select starts covering it, and then my buddy from JCW calls me, and I'm like, yeah, get me on the show as get me on JCW as Cocaine. Like, I'm like, it would get super over there. So then a couple days later, I see somebody on JCW doing the Cocaine character, and I worked for JCW. I'm cool with Juggalo Championship. I enjoy doing it, but I see somebody else doing the Cocaine character. I'm like, they could have just booked me. I had the costume already. So I continued doing the character, and Grimm was pissed at Violent J for
Well,
because he
well,
thought
that's
he was
what
taking
I was going to ask you, right? I mean, where's the respect between
he
comrades there, right? It's like,
yeah, yeah.
you know,
So he was pissed off at him. I was a little bit mad at first, so I'm like, I'll keep doing the character to fuck with him, and I'll just keep doing it, because I'm the true one. And then I was like, maybe we should eventually do a match between my version of Cocaine and Violent J's version of
what do you mean, a
Cocaine.
cocaine versus cocaine
Yeah, to
match?
see which one is the pure one, and it would have been,
The pure
dude. I
one, the
even
pure one's gonna win. The
I
pure
even
one's
cut
gonna
a
win.
promo. Yeah, I even cut a promo on that
Yeah.
Cocaine, calling him out, and I put it on the Vice. I don't know if
Yeah.
Vice was supposed to put it on their channel too.
Wow, that's friggin' amazing.
So,
Nice. You don't put cut
um,
my Cocaine.
Jimmy, let
that,
me ask you this though, right? So
I
you make
wanted to finish
go ahead,
Pharaoh's
go ahead, go ahead.
question. I know there's a lot of Jimmys, but deathmatch wrestling's always been something that it was the kind of wrestling that I grew up watching. I
All
used to
right.
watch CZW. I used to
Yes.
watch, FMW. I used to go and get tapes at, a record store that used to be opened by me, the best of Cactus Jack and Terry Funk.
Right.
And the best of FMW and Big Japan and IWA Japan and shit like
Right.
that. And, then I started as I got older, got into XPW and all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
So, deathmatch wrestling was kind of like, I didn't know anything about indie wrestling until I started, watching, deathmatch wrestling as like a kid. I was like 10 years old, and I was like, this stuff's awesome. This stuff is awesome. I was like, holy shit. You have like guys, exploding rings, barbed wire, the light tubes and shit like that. And
Mm-hmm.
this wrestler named Wife Beater who I loved watching him wrestle
Named what?
as a kid.
Wife beater.
Wife Beater, yeah.
That's what I thought I
Him
heard.
and
Mike, I thought sweater vest was bad enough. We've got white
him
beater
and
running it.
actually he was
Oh
he's
God,
Wife Beater was very respected growing up. He
Oh, I bet he was.
I'm sure.
I bet he was. I'm
He
not
was
denying any of that. I'm just
he
trying to
was
get over wife
he was
beater.
revered, and then I saw,
Yeah,
and then
and
Necro
feared.
Butcher, watching Necro Butcher
Oh my
in the
God.
movie The Wrestler was the guy who got me into it, and then
There
I
you go.
looked him up, and I'm like, wow, like this stuff is amazing, like.
Yeah,
So, like, wife beater, Mondo, John Zandig,
sure, sure.
FMW had Onita. So then, as I was training, I've always wanted to get into deathmatch wrestling. I'm like, I'm not getting any younger, so I went for it. Especially
Jesus.
this year, I finally got my opportunities.
How many more years do you see yourself doing it, bro? Because, like, seriously, I'm not just talking as a fan. I'm talking as a human. Are you kidding me, bro? I mean,
I
how
will,
many more years you got?
I will gladly do it until I can do it no longer.
Mm,
Wow.
wow.
Yikes.
Because
He's for real.
it's something that I enjoy. It's
He's
something
for
there's
real.
you get a certain amount of pride when you're out there putting your body on the line like that, and you get a certain amount of pride when and listen, there's money in it because the red turns into green,
Right,
blood turns into cash, bro.
right,
100%.
right, right. In all seriousness, Mike, if I can, real fast, has the name, and I'm just going to use this term, I said, this is Monte and the Pharaoh. Has the name Cocaine cock blocked you with anybody? I mean, honestly. Like, I mean, like
uh
we're not booking this guy, Cocaine. What the, some
uh
people, so I can see some people freaking out. Have you come across any of that?
well, apparently Cocaine's got his first death match in Loco Wrestling. I mean, I've been doing death matches pretty much almost every week. So,
Right,
but apparently
right.
he's got his first death match in January 23rd in Texas, which is mind-boggling because I'm teaming up with this twink named the Body who I can't stand. Like, I beat his ass so badly. No, here's the thing.
Jesse?
Here's the thing. This past Carnage Cup, I beat his ass so badly. It was his type of match, a BDSM I quit match, and I beat his ass so badly, he took it all, and he didn't even make it to the second round. I was the one who went in there and fought Mickey Knuckles and Little Sicko and got my ass
Mickey
kicked.
Knuckles.
Mostly,
Mickey Knuckles, Little Sicko. This is
This is
mostly,
not
crazy
but
shit, dude.
this is
listen,
not good.
listen, she's tough as nails, and the fact that
Oh
I'm friends with
shit.
the fact that
She.
I
I can't-
The
Oh my
fact that
God.
Sergeant Jimmy Controversy, am friends with Judge Joe Dredd, he's my main man. He's gonna be the 2025 is his year. After watching Cage of Death, it's the year of Judge Joe Dredd. She did she doesn't like me that much, trust me. So
Oy.
I got my ass kicked. But
Jimmy controversy. Have you ever you haven't trademarked the name Cocaine?
I was thinking about it. I was thinking, but it's here's the thing, like WWE, ironically, at the end of the day, owns the name Kane. So
Ruh-roh.
But it doesn't name
yeah,
cocaine. You can't mix the two up. I'm sorry.
You can't?
apparently they do.
I can see them saying that.
Well,
Apparently they can. Yep.
let me
Two
ask you this.
guys. So two guys cock blocked me. And that
Okay.
was Dustin Rhodes and that guy right there, Jonathan
So
Coachman.
Jonathan
let
Coachman.
me read Coach's statement, and then I want to hear your response.
Wow.
If he's trying to get noticed, congratulations, you succeeded. But this is without a doubt, and it's not close, the dumbest gimmick I've ever seen in my career. And he
I
is not
saw that.
alone. The promoters, the announcers, and the fans on here are saying this is exactly what we need in wrestling. Pro wrestling is the highest level replicated by kids and adults, and to watch a person pull an 8-ball of cocaine out of his tights, pretending to take it all in and performing a move is as idiotic as anything I've ever seen,
Well,
and might be funny, and many of you think. I don't find it funny at all, he wrote. Okay, now, Jimmy Controversy, please respond.
look, I don't have any personal issues with either Dustin Rhodes or Jonathan Coachman. Not everybody's gonna like, just like how not everybody likes deathmatch wrestling, or not everybody likes, certain styles of wrestling. Not everybody's gonna like a character. Not everybody's gonna like a certain wrestler, and you got to be okay with that, though. And again, I'm happy that they voiced their opinions. It's all good. I found it funny that Goldust of all people had to, was reacting to it when he's the king of literally thinking outside the box. I used to love his work. I used to love his work 100%. Like he played to the crowd in ways where they hate him, and we don't have a lot of that on we don't have a lot of that at all in wrestling. We don't have a lot of legitimate heels. This is the thing I hate, especially in deathmatch. Deathmatch wrestling too, guys, they beat the hell out of each other, and then at the end of the day, they're hugging, like, and they all love each other. Like, this is supposed to be wrestling is supposed to be a fight between opposing sides, not necessarily good or bad, because nobody's born bad, nobody's born good. It's a fight between wrestler A and wrestler B. It's a fight between an antagonist and the protagonist. It's a fight between opposing sides. It's like politics.
So controversy. Here's a question though. You seem like you like the old fashioned, keeping the kayfabe thing,
Right, right.
but which is very cool, by the way. But then I question it. You do a gimmick like cocaine, which is totally off the wall, right?
Well, I think certain aspects of wrestling are kind of now being ignored. Like, everybody I feel like because there's no now online, everybody causes an uproar over 1 ounce of controversial thing, 1 ounce of negativity, to them, 1 ounce of controversy, 1 ounce of something that's thinking outside the box. People will cause an uproar of it. Like
Right.
when I wrestled the body, and people hate this guy. Like people like couldn't stand this guy. Well, I don't know what he identifies as, but and more power to him. I got nothing against that. People couldn't stand him because he made one joke, because he made, these dumb comments. So people were asking me to beat his ass. Well, what I did, and when the match happened, and I'm trying to do it my way, people are coming at me all pissed at me because I disrespected all of them. I don't, and I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Give him a hug, like, like all you guys do, and just kill everything that you guys did in the whole match that was supposed to be like,
Well,
killing your victory and killing his loss? I mean, come on.
let me ask you this, Jimmy. Obviously, you want to be a professional wrestler. You could clearly hear it in your voice, which is fantastic. And I love your approach and your mentality. But let me ask you this. Doing characters such as cocaine, do you feel like number one, are you pigeonholing yourself? And then number two, are you showing a lack of moral
Um,
fiber? Hold on, lack of moral fiber by using such a character,
that's a
considering
good
the
question.
epidemic is as bad as it is.
That's a good question. So the cocaine character is more for it's more for fun. It was more for like, something to add to like a show. Like if anybody wanted to like wanted him on there, and didn't want him on there, that's fine too. But like, I feel like because I get used at enough places as, Jimmy Controversy gets, enough, recognition, and I could get over, on my own. I just feel like cocaine was something that it was always supposed to be used on GTS, and then there was a couple companies that, I'll work as him. People started hitting me up like, yo, I want you to be cocaine and stuff like that. I'm like, all right, fine, I'll bring him on.
Well, Jimmy, not to go backwards to Dustin, but if I can,
So it
Dustin, of
wasn't really
course,
my choice. It wasn't really my choice to use him on. I didn't think I'd be using him on different shows. I thought I would just be using him on GTS.
right, right. Well, look, the bottom line is that you thought outside the box, and this is Mike. If I can, just let me indulge for a second here. The first time back in the Attitude Era, when I saw Gold Dust for the first time, I got to be honest, I was appalled. I was like, what kind of what is this shit?
Yeah.
All right,
yeah.
I'm being honest. I'm being honest.
Oh, my dad hated it.
But we live in a society, like you pointed out in your previous statements, where nowadays it's an instant gratification reaction. So here's the truth of what happened with Gold Dust, right? And I'm going to get to what he said about you, and I want your feelings afterwards, okay? At first, I was totally appalled of Gold Dust. I was never a fan of Gold Dust, but as the years went on, and I didn't have a keyboard to jump on and instantly give my opinion and stuff. As the years went on,
Right.
I realized, holy shit, Dustin Runnels took a $10 bill and turned it into thousands.
Yeah.
He did it. He did an amazing job with it. So when I read a tweet,
But Jimmy Farrell, real quick, just also the
yeah,
point that people forget, he
yeah.
also advanced that character to having Tourette's too. So,
Oh, yeah.
right?
That's true.
Right.
That's true. But keep in mind, there's writing involved, and he's playing what they're telling him to do. I mean, I totally get it, though, Mike. I get it. All right. What I'm trying to say, though, is that instead of instantly pounding on something, let something play out. And in Dustin's tweet, he tweets out in furious fashion he's not happy about the new play on Kane's name at all. He's not only trashed the gimmick of Kane, but anyone who had any say in the past in helping it become a reality. This is disgustingly stupid. All involved should be ashamed, work or not, was his quote. Now, coming from a fan, I'm going to be honest. The first time I saw Co-Kane, let me explain myself, and I mean this respectfully. The first time I saw Co-Kane, I said, this is the funniest, stupid thing I've ever seen. And what I mean by that is I'm a huge Three Stooges fan, okay? I find funny stupid to be funny.
Oh, I love
at the end of the day. So what I saw you doing was one of the most ballsy original things, because quite honestly, Mike, I don't think during the Attitude Era they would have even touched Co-Kane. As racy as the product was, I don't think they would have touched him.
No,
you know.
So
when I see Co-Kane, I thought it was the funniest, stupidest thing I've ever seen, and I was like, yeah, that to me, as strange as it may sound,
can I add one thing? Can I
know?
add one thing, Jimmy? And I really mean this. And Jimmy Controversy, this is credit to you. I know this is a very singular character to you originally, but in my mind, when I saw the character, I said, this is something a struggling AEW could use.
Yeah.
Throw a guy like that onto AEW.
Yeah.
And you know, understanding that the NWA already did the cocaine gimmick, right? Already, right? But not as the wrestler.
Yeah, but we could base this on realism. Tony Khan is notoriously known to have a coke problem.
But what I'm trying to say here is,
allegedly,
as a fan, if I knew Co-Kane was wrestling on Wednesday night, I would be watching every week. And I'm being honest.
Hey, never say never. You know, if AEW wants to use Co-Kane, hit Co-Kane up.
But back to, Jimmy Controversy, back to that whole thing, though. As a human, morally, and I'm sure being in the wrestling industry, you must see certain things going on, maybe not as much as it was back in the old days. Is there some kind, or even when you talk to your mom or your dad, right, and you're using the cocaine gimmick, is there any sort of guilt, besides the fun part of it? Like, man, I really shouldn't do this.
Because
kids are watching you, right? Kids are watching you.
Here's the thing, like, I've had my own struggles with it, so, like, I feel like, this is just a play on, something from my past anyway. So, like, I'm like, if I'm not offended and if a couple people that I know that really had problems with it are actually laughing at it and saying this is fucking great. Because, the best way to, I think the best way to squash something, whether it be an addiction or beef with anything, is to make fun of it or parody it and, get a laugh out of it and be like, and then, make some money off of it. Like, so, again, I could see why, Goldust and Jonathan Coachman would be, they point out some very valid points. But, and am I mad at them personally? No, they're just expressing, themselves.
Jimmy, at the end of the day, just on a business level, they just by mentioning you, they did you a favor. So
and
let them have their opinion.
Listen, Glenn Jacobs, who who I happen to I have respect for too. I really like Glenn Jacobs, as a person. I think, I met him, a couple times, and Kane was my favorite wrestler before getting into any other kind of wrestling.
Okay.
When I was 3 years old, I loved Kane, so big part of my childhood. So Glenn Jacobs didn't really say anything other than he wouldn't be paying a ticket to go see it. And it's not necessarily, that's his choice.
Right.
I'll tell you right now, I would go pay a ticket to see Cocaine,
Okay.
and that is all.
I know
All
you
right.
would, Monty. I know you would.
So, Jimmy Controversy, gonna hit you with the Pharaoh's final question. Again, I want to thank you for joining us on a Friday night. Great interview. Love your perspective on things.
No problem.
Smart man. Jimmy, Pharaoh's final question, please.
Oh, Mike, I apologize in advance. I'm going to be nerdy, but he's a deathmatch guy. Give me your Mount Rushmore of your 4 most famous in your mind extreme hardcore wrestlers.
So, Terry Funk, 100%.
Okay.
Onita, 100%. Necro Butcher, and I would have to say John Zandig, because John Zandig was John Onita and John Zandig were pretty much like the Hulk Hogan of deathmatch wrestling, where they were like very, very hyped up, like very
Right.
hyped. And
Right.
Onita and Zandig both built companies that made deathmatch wrestling very popular. And I grew up watching. Those were the two big ones that I grew up watching. Very different, because
Oh, yeah.
Onita was more old school, and in terms of Onita was more like, let's build the anticipation, whereas Zandig was like, going right into the action and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
both of them had the old school mentality that a lot of wrestlers now need today. Um, and and then of course Necro Butcher, who was just, you know, all he needs is just his presence in the ring to make it a really good match. Because Necro, anything he touched turns to gold. 100%.
Yep.
And same with Terry Funk, a guy who pioneered that
Wow.
style in the states. And you know, I think if it wasn't for Necro and Terry Funk, a lot of wrestlers today that we see on TV wouldn't be getting the rub. And
I think he's
I'm proud to call Necro a friend, like an uncle like figure, and a mentor as well.
I think he's
I'm
right.
honored to have been on the road with him.
Combat Zone Wrestling. I had Mike. You're gonna laugh. I briefly had a subscription to Combat Zone Wrestling, and you know how much I love wrestling, Mike. We go back what almost
Yeah.
50. That
There's
promotion
the new
was.
breed. There's the new breed of ultraviolence, we call it, which is, I'm part of
Oof.
that gladly. And then you still got guys like Louis Jr., who was Low Life Louis Ramos's kid, if you know who that
Mm-hmm.
guy is.
Mm-hmm.
New York native Louis,
Mm.
phenomenal. I got to get in the ring with Louis and his kid this past year, and it was an
Brutal.
honor to be in the ring with them.
Brutal. Jimmy,
And
just do me
you
one
know,
favor, man. I know you're gonna go until your body says no. Just when your body tells you no, please stop. I want you to be able to walk around when you're older and stuff like
I
that.
would
I know what you guys do. I
100%.
mean, I've never done it myself, and there ain't no way I'd ever would have tried. You got more balls than me, my friend, Mike.
It's not my thing, man.
Well,
I like
Oh,
you guys have been fans. You guys have been fans of wrestling for probably decades, so
yeah.
like probably as long as you guys have been around. So like, and we all appreciate your support. And I've always wanted to be on this show, 100%.
well, we appreciate
Thank
that,
you.
Happy to
man,
be on it
and
finally.
Thank you, man.
we're happy to have you on. Again, have a wonderful weekend, Jimmy. You
You
want to
too.
send us
Happy
out?
holidays.
Happy holidays, Jimmy. Send
Happy
us
New
out, big guy.
Year.
Happy New Year.
And all that other good stuff. Here's to 2025. You've been watching Monte and the Pharaoh with Co-Kane and Jimmy Controversy. There's the two for you. We'll see you in a few minutes. Later.